Welcome back to another episode of English Unlocked. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Today's topic is one of my favorites because it combines learning English and storytelling. We're talking about writing your life like a movie.
Yes. Think of it this way. What if you could practice English not just through grammar drills or vocabulary lists, but by turning your own life into a screenplay?
Right? Imagine you're the main character. Every moment, every struggle, every success, it all becomes part of a movie script. And the best part? You're the writer and the star.
Exactly. Creative writing helps you use English in a personal, emotional, and memorable way. It's not just about learning words, it's about expressing yourself.
And when you write about your own life, even fictionalized a little, the vocabulary you use becomes more meaningful. You're not just memorizing, you're connecting.
Let's break it down. Step 1. Think of a moment in your life. Maybe it was your first day learning English, a trip you took, or even something embarrassing that happened in class.
Yes, and then ask yourself, how would this look in a movie? What were you wearing? What music was playing? Was it raining? The more details, the better.
And don't worry about making it perfect. The point is to play with the language. Be descriptive. Be dramatic if you want. Use new phrases. Try different tenses.
Let's say your character, meaning you, is nervous about a presentation. You could write, I stood frozen in front of the class, my palms sweating like I had just run a marathon. Boom, you just practice simile, emotion, and past tense.
Oh, nice one, Jack. And that's the power of writing creatively. You remember more because you feel more. It's your story, and your brain holds on to it.
Plus, you're building fluency because you're not just translating your thoughts, you're thinking in English. And that shift is huge.
Also, don't be afraid to mix genres. Turn your boring day into a spy thriller. Make that walk to school sound like a dramatic escape scene. It makes the writing fun, and fun means you'll keep going.
Totally. And for beginners, you can start with just a paragraph a day. Maybe, today, the hero faced her greatest enemy, the English homework. But she didn't give up. That's already storytelling, and it's learning.
I love that. You're reinforcing grammar, vocabulary, and creativity, all in one. It's active learning, not passive reading.
And hey, if you want to go further, you can even voice record your story. Read it out loud. Now you're combining writing, reading, and speaking. Triple win.
That's such a good idea. When you read your story out loud, you'll also hear your rhythm, pronunciation, and flow. It helps you notice if something sounds natural, or a little off.
And if it sounds off, that's great. You've just found a learning opportunity. You can rewrite it, try different phrases, look up how a native speaker might say it. That's real, hands-on learning.
Exactly. And here's another fun trick. Give yourself a character name. Maybe you're Alex, the fearless English explorer. Or MIA, the time-traveling grammar detective.
Ha ha, I love that. It gives you freedom to be bold in your writing. When you write as a character, you feel less pressure to be perfect, because it's storytelling, not a test.
Yes. And you'll end up using phrases and vocabulary you wouldn't normally use in everyday life, which means your range of English expands without you even realizing it.
And this method works for any level. Beginners can focus on basic sentence structure, like, Alex wakes up. He feels nervous. Today is the big exam. Intermediate and advanced learners can add metaphors, dialogue, and different tenses.
Speaking of dialogue, that's another layer you can play with. Write conversations between characters, between you and your teacher, you and your future self, or even you and your fears.
Oh, I like that. A scene where you argue with your own self-doubt in English? That's deep, and powerful for both language and mindset growth.
Absolutely. Writing helps you slow down and choose your words. And every time you do that, you're sharpening your grammar and sentence flow without memorizing boring rules.
Also, you're building confidence. You wrote a scene. You created a world. You made English your own. That's something to be proud of.
Totally agree. And if you keep writing your life like a movie, one page at a time, you're going to look back and realize just how far your English has come.
Let's throw in an idea for our listeners. How about this? Tonight, write a short movie scene about the day I got lost and had to speak English to a stranger. Even if it never happened to you, make it up. Imagine the tension, the setting, the conversation.
Yes. You could start with something like, I turned the corner and realized I was completely lost. No map, no Wi-Fi, and no one who spoke my native language. Just me, and my English skills. That opening already hooks the reader, and gives you a writing direction.
And then you build the scene. Add details. Maybe it's raining. Maybe you're nervous. Maybe you mispronounce a word and laugh with the stranger. That's where the magic happens, the little imperfections.
And if you're stuck on vocabulary, that's okay. Look it up as you go. Every word you search for is now attached to a story in your brain, and that makes it easier to remember next time.
Exactly. And here's a fun twist: after writing your scene, try translating just one paragraph back into your native language. You'll be surprised how differently it feels, and how much more expressive you've become in English.
Oh, I like that reverse translation idea. It's like seeing how your thoughts have evolved. And sometimes, you'll notice that English allows you to say things in a way your native language doesn't, or vice versa.
Which is why creative writing is not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about perspective. You start thinking in new ways because you're writing in a new voice.
So true. And hey, even if you never share your stories with anyone, you're still building something that belongs to you. Your private English world. Your personal learning journey.
But if you do want to share it, even with one friend or a teacher, that's even better. Getting feedback, hearing someone react to your story, builds confidence like nothing else.
And you'll inspire others, too. They'll see your growth and maybe start their own writing journey. It's a ripple effect.
So whether you write about heartbreak, comedy, sci-fi adventures, or just your walk to the coffee shop, make English your creative playground.
Exactly. Because when English stops being a school subject and becomes a tool for expression, that's when fluency really begins.
You know what else helps? Rereading your old stories weeks or months later. You'll be amazed at the progress. Maybe you'll spot a grammar mistake or awkward sentence, but that just means you've grown.
Yes. It's like a time capsule. You're not just learning English, you're documenting your growth, your thoughts, and your imagination in a second language.
And if you ever feel like you're stuck or not improving, just go back and read one of your first pieces. You'll realize, wow, I couldn't write this sentence before. I didn't know how to say this. But now I can.
That's such a powerful motivator. You don't need big achievements every day, those small wins are everything. One sentence that feels smoother. One paragraph with fewer mistakes. That's progress.
And let's not forget, writing your life or imaginary scenes helps you with emotional expression, too. It's not just learning English, it's learning how to be yourself in English.
Exactly. And honestly, that's one of the most beautiful things about learning a new language. You get to reintroduce yourself, from the inside out.
So whether you're a romantic writer, a sci-fi lover, a journal keeper, or someone who just wants to try, don't wait. Grab your notebook or open that document. Write your story, your way, in English.
Because that's how you build fluency, not just in grammar or vocabulary, but in voice, in courage, and in creativity.
And if you're not sure where to start, try using prompts. Something like, the first time I tried to speak English in public, or, if I could meet my future English-speaking self. Prompts give you structure without limiting your creativity.
Yes. Prompts are like little keys that unlock your imagination. You can even make them visual. Look at a photo and describe it in story form. Who's in it? What's happening? What are they feeling?
And let's not forget dialogue. Writing conversations forces you to practice real-life language, questions, answers, slang, emotions. It's like rehearsal for actual speaking situations.
Oh, that's a great point. Plus, when you write dialogue, you naturally think about tone, how people sound when they're happy, angry, confused. It sharpens your listening and speaking, even if you're just writing.
And you can even record yourself reading the story aloud after writing it. That's another level of practice, pronunciation, pacing, confidence.
I love that idea. Reading your own writing out loud makes the language come alive, and helps you build that muscle memory for speaking fluently.
And remember, mistakes are allowed. In fact, they're part of the process. If you don't make mistakes, you're not pushing yourself hard enough.
Exactly. Mistakes are not signs of failure, they're signs of growth. Each one teaches you something. So write freely, revise later, and just keep creating.
Think of your English like a movie in progress. Every scene you write, every word you speak, it's all part of your journey toward fluency.
And like any good movie, there will be challenges, plot twists, and unforgettable moments. But you're the writer. You get to decide how it unfolds.
And here's another thing, don't be afraid to write about the hard stuff. Maybe your struggles with learning English, or feeling misunderstood, or the pressure to be perfect. Those stories matter too.
Yes, because vulnerability in writing helps you connect, not just with readers, but with yourself. It helps you process emotions in English, which is a huge step toward emotional fluency.
That's powerful. Emotional fluency is often overlooked, but it's just as important as grammar or vocabulary. If you can express how you feel in English, you're already winning.
And sometimes you'll write something and realize, I didn't even know I could say that in English. That little moment of surprise. That's growth. That's proof your brain is learning.
And the more you write, the more comfortable you'll be trying new words, new sentence patterns, even new styles. Maybe you start with short journal entries and end up writing a poem or short story.
Or even a full-on screenplay one day. Who knows? English becomes your creative instrument, not just a communication tool.
And it all starts with showing up, day by day, sentence by sentence. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you.
Exactly. No pressure to sound like Shakespeare, or a best-selling author. Just sound like you, learning and growing in a second language.
So whether you're writing about your dreams, your real life, or wild adventures that only live in your head, remember, it's all valid. It's all English practice. And it all adds up.
And the beauty is, over time, you'll start to notice patterns in your writing. Maybe you always forget a certain tense, or you overuse certain words. That's not a bad thing, it's insight. It shows you exactly what to work on.
Right. Your own writing becomes your learning material. You can highlight those repeated mistakes, rewrite sentences, or even challenge yourself to write the same story in a more advanced way later.
Or even switch perspectives. Write the same story from a different point of view. It stretches your vocabulary, your grammar skills, and your imagination all at once.
And here's a fun tip, share your writing with others. Whether it's a study group, a teacher, a friend, or even a language exchange partner, getting feedback can be so motivating.
Totally. And you'll be surprised, people don't expect perfect English. They'll admire your effort, your creativity, and your courage. Most of the time, they'll be inspired by your progress.
You could even create a blog or use social media to document your journey. Just a short post every few days, what you learned, how you felt, what you wrote.
It becomes your personal timeline of growth. And when you look back months later, it's like, wow, I really built this. That's how confidence is born.
And every time you sit down to write, even when you don't feel inspired, you're still doing something powerful. You're training your mind to think in English, and that's the ultimate goal.
Yes. Fluency isn't just about knowing the right words. It's about being able to think and create in English without fear.
And when you can write your life like a movie, in your own voice, in your own style, then you're not just a learner anymore. You're a storyteller.
And storytelling is universal. It's the ultimate bridge between languages and cultures. When you start seeing your writing as a form of storytelling, it shifts your whole approach to English.
Exactly. It stops being this intimidating task, this checklist of grammar rules, and becomes more of an art form. It becomes about expression, creativity, and fun.
That's when the magic happens. When you feel comfortable enough to put your thoughts into words, to express your feelings or ideas the way you want to, that's fluency.
And remember, you don't have to write a full story or essay every time you sit down. A sentence or two can make a big difference. Sometimes, just practicing describing one thing around you in English is enough to grow your skill.
It's all about consistent, small moments. Every day, every word, every sentence adds up. Whether you're practicing with a few lines in your journal or writing a dialogue between two characters, it all matters.
The more you embrace this creative process, the more your brain will naturally think in English. One day, you'll realize that your first thoughts are in English, and that's when you know you've fully integrated it.
Yes. And when you reach that point, writing and speaking English won't feel like work anymore. It'll just flow, like a conversation with a friend.
And that's the kind of English you want, fluid, effortless, and natural. So, if you haven't already, pick up that pen, start your story, and begin today. Your journey is already in the making.
And don't worry if it feels like you're not where you want to be yet. The beauty of writing is that it's a journey. Every day you write, you're inching closer to the fluent version of yourself that you envision.
Absolutely. And you might not even notice how far you've come until you look back at your earlier work. It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Each word you write is a step, each sentence a milestone. Don't rush the process. The progress will come when you allow yourself the space to grow and evolve.
And if you ever hit a roadblock, write about that too. Writing through the frustration or feeling stuck is another way to strengthen your language skills. It's like exercising a muscle.
Yes, and sometimes, the hardest moments lead to the most powerful breakthroughs. You'll realize that writing about something you struggled with helps clarify your understanding and makes you more fluent.
And remember, writing in English isn't just for the serious stuff. Have fun with it. Write about a random topic that excites you. Maybe a dream you had or a hobby you're passionate about. Let English become part of your day-to-day life.
That's so true. The more you make English a part of who you are, the more natural it will feel to express yourself in it. No rules, no pressure, just you, writing, growing, and having fun along the way.
And when you find topics that really ignite your passion, your writing will naturally improve. You'll start using more diverse vocabulary, experimenting with different sentence structures, and finding your unique voice in English.
That's the magic of personal connection. When you care about what you're writing, it stops feeling like work. It turns into an expression of your thoughts, your ideas, your worldview. And that's the true power of language, being able to articulate what's in your heart.
And once you start seeing English not just as a subject to study, but as a tool to communicate what matters to you, the motivation follows naturally. It's like opening a new door to the world.
Exactly. You start realizing how many opportunities open up when you can speak and write in English. The world becomes smaller, more connected. You can share your thoughts with people from all corners of the globe.
And you'll be amazed at how much more confident you'll feel. Writing, in any language, helps you express your thoughts clearly. When you can do that in English, it brings an entirely new level of freedom and confidence.
That's the beauty of this process. It's not just about learning grammar or vocabulary. It's about learning how to express yourself in a language that bridges cultures and communities.
So, remember, every time you sit down to write, you're not just practicing English. You're discovering more about who you are, how you think, and how you connect with the world around you.
Exactly. Writing isn't just a tool for learning English. It's a way to discover your voice in a new language, a way to unlock your potential. So, don't hesitate. Start writing today, even if it's just a few sentences.
And remember, each small step you take brings you closer to fluency, and more importantly, closer to becoming the best version of yourself through English. The key is consistency, creativity, and embracing the journey.
Thank you for joining us today. Keep writing, keep learning, and above all, keep believing in your ability to grow. We'll catch you next time on the podcast.
Until then, happy writing and happy learning.